Hey guys, and welcome to Local Break, where we break away from breaking news, focusing on local lifestyle and entertainment news. Now, I know it's been a while since you last heard from us, but we're back. So let's get into the order of things with the trends that made our next twist. First up, the timeline was not convinced that Mr. Keenan Forbes, better known as rapper aka, contracted and recovered from coronavirus. Now, to give you a better understanding, let's take it back to last week Friday when Super Mega released a statement on socials that he tested positive. Haters, as he would say, questioned the statement because every other celebrity was simply using Jack's Twitter characters without the drama of an official letterhead. Now let's skip a couple of days later and the rapper updated his fans with this video. You guys didn't believe that either and accused him of being paid to fake the virus. And when AKA announced his recovery 2 days ago, this was the response. Now, staying with unbelievable stories, who of you started this rumor that our beloved KFC couple broke up? I just want to talk. Rumors surfaced on social media that the couple who tugged on South Africa's heartstrings last year were calling it quits. But we are relieved that this is fake news. Speaking to the Daily Sun, Nhlanhla and Hector Mkanzi cleared the air, saying that they were shocked and confused by the rumors, but they were still very much in love. And did you forget, or should I remind you, that you can go to jail for fake news? So I'm just asking on behalf of everybody, is it really a world tour if Africa's not invited? Alicia Keys announced her visit to America and Europe and called it a world tour this week, and shame, the hitmaker woke up to a geography lesson from all her fans from the motherland. Fans also made reference to the way real African culture is prominently used and appreciated, and sometimes appropriated, in artists' work, but when it comes down to tours, Africa becomes Wakanda, an illusion. Now, moving along to some talent that is local and actually pretty lekker, this week's local banger is Somizi's new cooking show, Dinner with Somizi. The show premiered on One Magic on 10 July with his husband Mohale Motaung and their first guest Rami Shuene. Now, Somizi stays true to his quirky and I don't owe anybody proper English self in the 45-minute cooking, laughing and spilling tea with his celebrity friends, and we love it.
Kabarime, Papa! Kabarime, Papa! Fire!
Finally, it just happens to me in a show, yummy.
So you're a good cook, right?
Yes.
Of course you're a mother. You are a mother.
Would you ever work for the Fergusons again?
It depends.
A lot of people gave you flack when you supported your daughter.
The OnlyFans account. Social media has opened a way, the easier route for people to plant whatever it is that they have to offer. That's the way of the business.
Dinner at Somizi's, Fridays at 7 p.m. on One Magic.
Now it's time for our special guest on this week's episode. We caught up with an amazing artist who you'd recognize as a member of The Soil. Buhlebendalo celebrated the release of her first solo album, which has been described as food for the soul. For you, what would you say the message is that you wanted to bring forward with this album?
I'm just trying to spread the healing, especially to women, women who are like me, and we know as women we go through a lot every day of our lives. So this is just prayers that are sent to the universe to actually stand up for women, and messages that appeal to other genders as well, messages that bring hope to the hopeless and a voice to the voiceless, really. Messages to the people in power also, to actually stand up for humanity, stand up for human rights. This is also my journey of knowing self within the spiritual realm. So I'm also on a journey of understanding my spirit self outside of the physical self. So these are stories that I always come across when I'm alone. And I know that I'm not the only one who has these questions or these prayers or these affirmations sent to the universe. So this is basically an album that is inspired by people's stories and is for people.
Now team, darling, sing a backo. Amen, 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 amen. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, amen, amen. Amen, 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 amen. Amen, 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 amen. Amen, amen, amen.
Mentioned that it's really like a message of healing. When we talk about healing, what does that look like for you?
Healing to me is freedom. Healing to me is being able to be heard, being able to be seen, being able to be appreciated for who and what you are, being able to express yourself and what comes with you. You know, healing is a sense of contentment within every space that you find yourself in. Healing is a sense of freedom within self. Healing is a sense of spiritual freedom. Healing is a sense of comfort, you know, whereas you know that you have these pains, but there is some sort of comfort that you get. So healing is a lot of things. It depends on how broken a person is.
Can you take us through the process of putting this album together? I know it wasn't just something that you did in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Can you take us through the process of putting it together?
Started conceptualizing on this album 4 years ago. During my initiation or during my self-awakening period, where I went to go train to be a sangoma, you know. There are so many things that I learned about myself during that process, and I also learned that I need to expand on my healing, you know, because as you know, as you might know, that I am part of the soil, but there's also messages that are meant to be sent by just myself. You know, I feel like it's part of my healing journey, you know. Women inspired this album really, and women's stories. I remember I started conceptualizing during the time of Karabo Mukwena, who was killed and burnt by her then boyfriend, you know, and after that, so many stories erupted, you know, concerning gender-based violence, and I was affected, and I felt scared as a woman and as a mother to a girl child. I felt like I had to do something. I had to say something, and my only means or my medium is music. And I feel like as musicians or as artists, we are given a great task by the universe to spread messages of healing to society, because art is the closest thing where people can relate to, you know. And it took a while, you know, because I kept receiving songs bit by bit, you know, getting inspirations from here and there, but the main inspiration was my self-acknowledgement and my self-growth as a healer and as a woman in society. So, as you know, gender-based violence hasn't ended even now, you know. And we continue to tell these stories, and we continue to express our grief as women, and we continue to appeal to the government. We continue to cry to the Lord as well, you know. So the process is just an ongoing self-cleansing, if you may call it that, because I heal through music. I heal through these messages. So I'm just trying to cleanse as I go, really.
My last question. I have been seeing you interact a lot with your fans around the album and how they've been feeling about it and what they've taken from it. Why was it so important that you let people into this space to let you know what they've taken from it?
You know, it's always been my dream to sit with people that are buying the music and people that are consuming the music. It's important. You know, it's like coming back for a checkup when you went to a doctor. You have to let your doctor know, okay, so how are you feeling? How are the meds? You know, are there any side effects? What can we improve? It's important to, and I'm glad that the lockdown has given us time to actually check on people, because you can't be busy doing one thing and think in your head, okay, I'm on the right track. Yes, I'm the shit. I'm doing this thing. Mama, I made it. Yes, I'm the boss of this and the boss of that. Whereas you don't even read people's comments on social media because you don't have time. But this time is allowing us as artists to actually read comments, to actually respond to comments, to actually take in criticism and say, okay, thank you, I'm going to fix this. Because I like having honest conversations, you know, on all my platforms, so that I know what people want. Because now it's pointless to create something that is just going to satisfy only you as an artist, because that's not what you're born for. So I take the time to go back and just find out how people are doing, because this is my first album. And I come from a group setup. I'm actually curious of what people think of just me, Buhlebendalo, and not Buhlebendalo from the soil, you know. And that's what I wanted and hoped for people to see me as. I am Buhlebendalo, you know. Yes, I'm in the group called The Soil, but I'm not the soil. I'm Buhlebendalo, you know. And I want to catch up with people to understand if they caught what I was trying to send to them, and they did.
And that's all for this week. But before I leave you, here's 30 seconds of fresh talent. This week's feature is Zimbabwean-born, South African-based, 22-year-old King 98, who's teamed up with Tanzanian BET award winner Diamond Platnumz for this track, which drops today, titled Kachiri. See you next week, guys!